Good morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am stitchywitch42 here on FlossTube and over on Instagram, and it's been a little over a month since I've recorded a video. I've been feeling punky. Long story short, last October, ruptured appendix. They didn't remove them. They pumped me full of antibiotics and put me on blood thinners because I also had a blood clot in my lung and therefore they couldn't do surgery. Move forward. I saw the surgeon sometime last month and he said, yes, we should remove the appendix. I said, can we wait till October? And it's simply because of my benefits at work. I work enough hours to earn my benefits and my medical coverage. When I went into the hospital last October, I used most of my PTO and I don't have any right now. And I won't have any until the end of September, so can we hold off till then? He gave me all the reasons why we shouldn't wait. I said, I understand that, but if I take a week off now, I lose my benefits. I understand I'm going to feel like crap between now and then. And he said, okay, but if anything gets worse, call. I feel punky. A couple of years ago, I remember watching Teresa, Kitten Stitcher, and she was talking about her spoons being empty, and I didn't understand what she meant by that. I do now. I do now. And I realize what I'm going through is nothing compared to what thousands of other people have to deal with daily. This is just what I'm going through, and I am so tired of hearing myself say I don't feel good, but I don't feel good. I've been stitching, I've been crafting, I have a couple of finishes. Nothing is fully finished. I had bought a craft table and stuck it up in the middle of the library, and obviously that was a really bad thing for me to do because it's covered with everything. And it's on that list of I will take care of it when I get around to it, and I haven't got around to it at all for anything. I'm here, I'm doing a video. Get yourself something to drink. I had to do some errands, so I went and got myself a coffee. So, what have I been working on? Everything. Well, I haven't been working on my Halloween Village Afghan, and I haven't been working on my Mandarin's Designs Moon Charm, which is one that I really want to get done because I love the way it looks. But I've done everything else, and like I said, I have 2 finishes, and I have 2 TV trays next to me and a basket full of stuff, and my Alphonse Mucha over there. Pause now, go to the bathroom, get yourself something to drink. I've got a lot. I'm just going to start grabbing things. So there's not going to be any rhyme or any reason. I'm just going to start somewhere. Alright. Today is Monday the 17th of July 2023. So, the beginning of the month, I went to First Thursday. I have gone to First Thursday to just about every First Thursday that there has been. And this time I wanted to go because my friend Sandy was coming down from Canada. She goes over to Sisters, Oregon for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, which happens the 2nd Saturday of every July? Yes, it's July. This has my brains on. I'm tired and feel punky. The 2nd Saturday in July. Yeah. So she had contacted me and wanted to know if we could get together, and my work schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I have Thursdays off for First Thursday. And also because the idea of working more than 2 days in a row is just too much. So I drove up to Acorns and Threads, went to First Thursday. Sandy was there, and I thought it was fabulous because Acorns and Threads not only has live meetups that you can go to and classes that you can go to, they also have some Zoom meetups a couple of times a month. I know there's a first and third Tuesday evening one, and I generally miss those because they fall right at dinner time. And then they have a Saturday Stitch, and apparently Sandy is part of the Saturday Stitch, and several ladies from the Saturday Stitch came to First Thursday to meet up with her, and I just thought that that was fabulous. If you're a member of the Facebook group, Pacific Northwest Stitchers, she posted pictures there, taken by me. So I worked on my Alphonse Mucha, and I'm going to pause here, adjust the camera, show you where I'm at on my Alphonse Mucha. Okay, right here is my lovely lady. And I have a page finish. If right here is the bottom corner of page 19. So I got page 19 finished. I am working on page 18, and then that will be 17. There is a total of 28 pages for my lovely lady. And this is what she is going to look like when she is completed. Someone asked me how big she is. I'm stitching her on 14 count aida. She will be 10 3/4 inches wide by 27.5 inches long. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to show you my other Alphonse Mucha that I have in my house. So hold on just a moment. This lovely lady is a sister piece to the one that I'm working on. This one is called either Evening Reverie or Evening Contemplation. The one that I'm currently stitching is Morning Awakening. It is a series of 4, and I think he drew these, painted these, 1903 or 1906, I think. I have to double check that. I may make a correction later on in the video. I almost said movie. Oh my God, my brain is tired. She was the second one of my Alphonse Muchas that I stitched. My first one I stitched for my daughter Erin. It is Morning Star. And the third one I stitched was The Moon. And that is the one that I gave to my friend Lori, textilist. So Morning Awakening is my 4th Alphonse Mucha. It's also the one that's taking me the longest so far because I'm doing everything else. Hold on, let me go back to the chair. Okay. So when I was up at Acorns and Threads, I was working on my Alphonse Mucha. I had a couple of ladies up there ask me about the stand that I have it on. And I know I've told you this before. The part that she is on is the top of my Edmunds floor stand. You can buy those at Michael's or Joann's. I think they cost about $85. And then I had Mark adapted to fit into this chair here. So the side has 3 spacers so I can turn my frame completely around. But then he built the legs so that they would fit on this chair, and they fit inside the chair so they can't slide when I'm moving it. And I absolutely love the way he adapted that for me. So that is my Alphonse Mucha. There's one project. When I was up there, I purchased the Just Cross Stitch Halloween special. I will be talking more about that later on in my video. And then I also purchased some of these little tart tins to use for finishing some pieces that are upstairs on the table in the library, buried there somewhere until I get around to it. Yeah. 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 videos ago, someone commented that maybe I should save all my fully finishing until I retire. And as the pile grows up there, I'm thinking that's getting closer to being a reality. So I just might go with it. But I'm buying stuff to fully... I have a frame upstairs for finishing a piece. Life. All right. That was first Thursday. It was a fabulous day, stitching with all the ladies, wandering around the shop, spending time visiting with my friend Sandy. And then the following Monday, I got to go up to Anna's house. Anna is Stitch Roadies, Quilt Roadies. It was a local cluck up gathering. So Anna was there, obviously, it's her house. Cheryl was there. Cheryl is one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies. And Janine, who is the owner of Acorns and Threads, was there, and myself. And I took with me a project. I have piles. Where's my project? Time to shuffle the piles. Just Cross Stitch Halloween Special. I have a whole bunch of pages here that I have tagged from ones that I want to do. And as I was going through this one, there are some years that, this is the one that I buy every year. And I go through it and I think, yeah, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. There are several years where I'll stitch 2 or 3 of them out of the magazine. I think I have 8 or 9 earmarked on this one to do. But the first one that I saw was like, I have to do this. And when I show you, you will know why. It is a witch's hat pincushion. OMG. Look at that. So it is stitched on, it's recommended for a 28 count Zweigart. I went through all my fabrics upstairs and I came across a box of Charles Craft 28 count Lugana. It's called Tea-Dyed, that I had purchased at Michael's or Joann's somewhere. It was on clearance sale. So I've got the fabric. I got it. I took that with me up to Anna's house because I've been to the Beehive before and she's got all the stuff there. I knew she would have a table and a rotary cutter and a ruler and I could cut my pieces out because to make this, it's going to take 3 pieces of material or fabric. So I got started on the first one, and basically this is the brim of the witch's hat. So there's a black, there's a dark gray, there's a lighter gray, there's the dark gray again, and then there'll be another row inside of the black, and that will be the brim of the hat. You also have to stitch the underside of the brim on another piece, and it'll just be a 2-row wide circle the same size as this one. So the top and the bottom of the brim. Then the third piece is going to be the cone of the hat. So that's the piece that I'm working on here, the brim. Next I'm going to work on the cone of the hat. So the brim takes 2 9x9 inch squares. The cone is going to take a 10 by 11 inch piece. And real fast, there you go. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to be having some fun doing that. I feel like I'm stitching in circles. But I am. And I'm using all the called for colors, and oops, I lost my finger. And I am keeping it in my Jasmine Ravenclaw bag because I thought this was perfect for it. It's big enough for me to put the magazine and my Q-snap in there, and the pocket is where I've got all my floss just hanging about in there. So, there's that project. I don't know where to put things. All right. Okay. So, I want to talk about this magazine. I was going through this. I'm not going to do a flip through. I was going through this, and as I came to various things, it was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. Like this one here. They have it stitched into a pillow. I'm thinking just doing a long piece would look fabulous for that. And then I came along and there's this one. Does it have a name? I don't know. Can't find the name. There you go. But I looked at this one and I thought, you could stitch all of it. You could stitch the top row. You could stitch the second row. You could stitch the possibilities with this one. Then I came to this page, and these pumpkins down here with the eyes. Yes. One of the things that I told myself last fall is I wanted to stitch more pumpkin pieces, because when I put out my Halloween decoration, part of what I put out in the house is all the pumpkins that I have collected. I have resin pumpkins, I have wire pumpkins, I have metal pumpkins, I have ceramic pumpkins. I might possibly have a glass pumpkin. I don't know. I have a lot of pumpkins. I have wooden pumpkins. And I thought I need to do some more cross stitch with pumpkins on it. And I think you might remember last year I did that pumpkin. It said pumpkin on it, and then I turned it into a little drum, adding to my pumpkin collections. And this one right here with the eyes, I need to do this one. So, give me a second. There's one that I have to show you. And before I show you, I have a story to tell about it, because when I show this one to you, you're all going to look at me and say, Audrey, you don't do things like that. That was your clue. Alrighty, where are you at? Hold on while I go to the back page and I find the pictures that tell me where I'm at. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. There is a story that goes with this one as to why I need to stitch this one. I am an avid reader. I have always been an avid reader. My parents gave me The Hobbit and the trilogy of The Lord of the Rings for Christmas when I was 7 years old. And I read The Hobbit in a day and a half. I was 7. I've read it many times since then. I have a Hobbit library because of that book. So I was an avid reader when I was a child, and I remember that there was this one book, and I just love the story, and I think about it over and over every now and again. And when I saw this picture, it took me back to that story. And I love that story so much that after I found this pattern and I told myself I had to stitch it, I went and Googled the name of the book again, and I finally found it, and I ordered it from Amazon, so I should be getting it in the next day or so. But I'm going to tell you this book. I'm going to tell you the story of this book from my memory. Mr. Pine lived on a street where every house looked exactly the same. They were all white houses. They were all the same architecture. They all had the same front yard. They were all identical. And it was rather confusing when he was driving down his street to know exactly which one was his house because all of the houses were identical. So he got an idea. He was going to go and buy a shrub and plant it in his front yard to make his house stand out from all the other houses. And while he was doing this, all of his neighbors were out and they were watching him and they were talking about it. And they complimented him on putting this shrub in his front yard. And he was so pleased with himself. And the next day, he drove home knowing that it was going to be really easy to find his house, only to find out that all of his neighbors had gone and bought the same shrub and planted it in the same spot in front of their house. So now all the houses are white, the same architecture, and they all have the same shrub in front of their house in the same spot. So Mr. Pine thought about it, and he thought he'd go get a tree and plant it next to the shrub. And when he was planting the tree, all of his neighbors were out and they were watching and they were talking about it and complimenting him on it. And again, the next day when he was driving home, he thought how easy it would be to find his house. But when he drove down his street, here is every house with the same tree next to the same shrub in front of the same white house. And he thought about it, and he thought about it, and he thought about it, and finally he got an idea. He was going to paint his house. So he went and he bought the paint, and he went out front and he started painting the front of his house. And all of his neighbors came out and they were watching him and they were complimenting him on it and they were talking about it. And he thought to himself, I'll be able to find my house. Well, the next day when he drove home, every house on his street had been painted. There were yellow houses, and there were blue houses, and there were green houses, and there were orange houses and brown houses. But there was his house, and it stood out from all the others because Mr. Pine painted his house purple. And when I saw this pattern, I have to stitch a house. I have to stitch a house. Now the fabric is called ectoplasm. I have to find the fabric. I'm going to stitch a house. It's going to be a purple house. This is going to be Mr. Pine's purple house, but I have to stitch this house because of a story that I read. The book, when I was purchasing it online, it said it was for ages 3 to 5. So I read it at some point, and now I have to stitch a purple house because somebody designed a pattern that reminded me of that silly story from my childhood. Okay. Monday at Anna's house, I got a gift. Somebody had met Anna at Acorns and Threads the week before. It was before First Thursday because she didn't get to make it to First Thursday. She was prepping to go over to Sisters for the week leading up to the Sisters Quilt Show. And she posted a picture on Instagram and on Facebook in the Pacific Northwest Stitchers of a package with this envelope in front of it. So finally, when I got up to Anna's house, I got my package and I got my card, and I want to say thank you, Jenny. This is absolutely gorgeous. And her writing, the inside of the card, the handwriting is just as beautiful. She said that this is an early retirement gift. And that the washi tape was from Japan. I don't know if she meant the washi tape on the package or what was inside of it, But I started peeling the tape open very, very carefully because this is tissue paper. And it's a beautiful toile tissue paper, which will look lovely in a journal. And I opened it up, and inside is a roll of washi tape. It has got a beautiful green floral print on it, absolutely fabulous. And then there was this little ceramic dish with a pumpkin on it. Love it. But then behind that was a canvas bag. And she is just gorgeous. So, so gorgeous. So thank you so much, Jenny, for thinking of me. I will definitely be using this because one cannot have enough witch bags. Alrighty. Find a place to set all of this. I'll move it over to this table. So at some point in the past month, I got a call from my granddaughter Rowan. She wanted to go and buy some material because she wants to make a vest. And I asked her questions like, do you have a pattern? And she said no. She was just going to wing it. She's never sewn anything before. And I was like, well, we can go to Joann's and we can look for fabric. And she goes, I go, what kind do you need? And she goes, I don't know. And I'd ask her again, do you have a pattern? No, I'm just going to wing it. So we agreed that we were going to meet up. I was going to take her to Joann's, and that morning she sent me a text. Instead of leaving in the morning to go to Joann's, could I pick her up at her Nana's house at 5 o'clock in the evening and bring her and her sister home to Silverton and stop at Joann's on the way? Of course I can do that. Chance to have both my granddaughters and get to talk to them in the car. Yes, I can do that. So, we're driving. Rowan is in the front seat, Riley is in the back seat. Rowan is the talker, Riley is very, very quiet. We're chattering as we drive over to Joann's, and I said, a friend of mine sent me a thing in the mail. And Rowan said, that's really nice, what is it? And I said, it's a thing. And she goes, well, I know, you said that. And she goes, what is it? And I said, it's a thing. And Riley got it in the back and started laughing. My friend Stacy, who is my sister witch, and on Instagram, she is Stacy_postal stitcher, sent me a box. I know she works at the post office. And she sent me this box, and I got this box, and on side of it, on the front, we have a picture of the Addams family. And then we have a picture on this side of Wednesday. And on this side of one Morticia. On another side, this Morticia. And then this Morticia. And inside of it was a thing. She sent me a thing. This is a 3D created piece. If you look at it, you can see the layers on it, and I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this? Because my Ort catcher is a thing. This was a Halloween votive holder that I bought years and years and years ago. I bought 2 of them, and one has been my Ort catcher for years. So what am I going to do with the thing? And then I remembered that Anna had made some felted wool pincushions, and I thought, okay, I could do something like that. So I went onto YouTube and I found a video how to make felted wool balls. And I guess there's a couple of different ways to do it. When I was at First Thursday talking with all the ladies there, I brought this up and I said the video I saw showed making them with warm water and soap and wetting it and manipulating it into a ball shape and then putting it into a piece of nylon, putting a knot on either side of it, and then putting it in the dryer and letting it dry. And then you have to take it out and you have to let it set several days. And I thought, okay, I can do that. I can do that. So I had gone on to Amazon and I found a package that had 96 3-gram rovings, wool roving, balls of wool roving. There's 2 of each color, so there's 48 of each color, or 2 of 48 colors. Yeah. When I went to Anna's, I asked her about making felted balls, and she uses this 3-prong needle that reminds me of the shots that we got for chickenpox, smallpox, the vaccines we got way long time ago that leaves a scar on your arm where the needles went in. That's what this needle thing looked like. And she said that she uses, excuse my butt, she went to someplace, I don't remember where, and she bought a garland that was made of these little felt balls. And she uses something like this or a little styrofoam ball and then uses that needle thing to felt the wool all over it. But the ladies at Acorns and Threads said that when you do that, you end up with band-aids all over your fingers because you're going to stab yourself. So I'm thinking I'm going to try the wet, heat dry one first because I have 96 rolls, 3 grams each of wool roving. And I'm going to try to create a pincushion for the top of this. I tried using some of my Tim Holtz Distress Oxides to color thing because he's a little bit too pale for me. I need him to match this one more. But it did work to a degree. I couldn't get into the tiny places and everything, so I thought I would add a little bit of water to it and it just washed all off. So I'm actually going to paint this with acrylic paint and make a thing pincushion out of my thing. Because everybody should have a thing, or 2, or 3. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Jenny, for your gift if I didn't say it because I'm babbling and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Alright. More cross stitch. I have more cross stitch. I have a finish. I had been working on Brenda Gervais' Pennsylvania Dutch Tomato Pinkeep. This one. I bought the full kit from Acorns and Thread, which not only has the pattern, it has the floss, which was DMC number 28. It has a piece of wool and it has a piece of velveteen. And the stand to put it on. And it came with a piece of fabric that was cut just the right size to stitch your piece on. Do you see the stitching on this side? Do you see how much space I have on this side? I had to add a piece of fabric to the other side of my linen, because I am 4 stitches away from the edge of my fabric on this side, but it is complete and it is done, and it will go upstairs in the pile of things to be finished later. But that is all the stitching for the Pennsylvania Dutch Tomato Pinkeep. It is stitched 1/2, I don't remember my count size, 36 count vintage country mocha. So it's a finish to be put into the stack of things to finish when I retire, because that's the way it's going. It's just the way it's going. All right. Nope. You've seen that before. You've seen that before. My other finish. Don't Feed the Trolls. Daisy Joe Designs. She came up with the idea for this pattern from the public service announcement I made on Don't Feed the Trolls. Don't give anybody on the internet your personal information. If I ever get around to doing a giveaway again and I tell you don't say gift or giveaway, it attracts the trolls. I will never send you somewhere else to give me personal information, and all I will ever ask for is your address. But I did my whole rant about Don't Feed the Trolls. I deal with it at work all the time because we do money transfers and we sell gift cards, and I see it happening over and over again, and they piss me off. The people who try to steal your personal information. Don't feed the trolls. So she came up with this design, and she stitched it monochromatically, all in 310 black. On Instagram there is a hashtag Don't Feed the Trolls, SAL. So there's 3 S's there at the end. Don't Feed the Trolls, SAL. I stitched mine on a piece of white lugana, and I used mostly Gentle Arts colors. I used DMC 666 for the words. I used Gentle Arts Brown Bear for the borders, both the inner and outer border, and for the staffs on the trolls. I went through 3 skeins. This is what I have left. I used Gentle Arts Garden Gate for Paw Patrol. That's all I have left from 1 skein. I used Gentle Arts Cobblestone for Mama Troll. And then I used Classic Colorworks Sticks and Twigs for the Youngling. I told myself I was going to finish the border before I got to stitch the Youngling, and I did. I kept this one in my Stitchin' Buttons, Vicky Stitchin' Buttons, Stamp Out Bullying, Internet Trolls, Bullies. I thought it was perfect. But I told myself I was not going to stitch the Youngling Troll until I finished the border. And I was very pleased with myself that I held myself accountable for that. And I got it done, and here is my fully finished Don't Feed the Trolls. And I really kind of hope that YouTube will take this as my screenshot, but they never do what I want to do. So let's get up here. Use the boobs as Anna has taught me how to do. This is Brown Bear, the border, and the staffs on them. This is the DMC 666. He is garden gate, she is cobblestones, youngling is sticks and twigs. Now you can see these two are very variegated. And the way I did that, and I posted a short video of it, is I do the outline and then I just do circles until I get it in. And that way you get, I didn't end up with a stripy troll. Trolls are not supposed to be stripy. Cannot have a stripy troll. My opinion. Doesn't matter if other people want stripy trolls, they can have stripy trolls. I don't see trolls being stripy. I like them the way they turned out here. Youngling here with the sticks and twigs had much less variegation there, so there's a little bit of color change in him, but not a whole lot. I think this is gorgeous. I have a plan for how I want to fully finish it. I talked with Mark about where I can go get the product I need to create the background that it will be on. I have no idea when that is going to happen, because this is going to go upstairs onto the table with the pile of things that needs to be finished. It's just where I'm at right now with my life. I have had many finishes so far this year. I've only had a couple fully finishes. All right. Next project that I'm going to tell you about is a journal that I have been working on. I've been watching a couple of different ladies make some journals, and I decided that I wanted to make a journal for myself, and I have been working on it for months and months and months and months because I've not made a journal like this before. All the other journals that I have made have had a manila file folder as the base for them, and I really like the way those turned out. But I wanted to do one that had multiple signatures in it. I think last year I was talking about making some that I wanted to do for the Sabbats of the year, but that was 8 individual journals that may or may not get put into one spine. I don't know. I've only got 4 of them made. But I wanted to create my first, for me, multiple signature journal. And I had 3 paper bags upstairs that I wanted to use as the covers for the 3 signatures. So I got the pages of the signatures put together. And then I decided I didn't like some of them and I replaced them. And then I decided I didn't like some of those and I replaced some of that. But basically I have my 3 signatures upstairs to the point where I'm ready to put them into a cover. And then I thought to myself, because I've been watching these 3 ladies, and 2 of them in particular, actually, 1 of them in particular. The 3 ladies that I've been watching are Luise Heinzl, Junk Journal Art, Barbara, 49 Dragonflies, and Marlies, who is Marley Design. Same names on Instagram. Barbara, 49 Dragonflies. I have watched a couple of her videos where she actually makes the covers. And a lot of the times she uses paper bags for the inside of her cover. And I thought that would be appropriate because the covers of my 3 signatures are made from paper bags. And then it started this whole thought process of what do I want the cover to look like, and my brain can drive me crazy sometimes because I will, if I can overthink it, I will overthink it. But I finally decided that if I'm going to make this journal, I need to make it for something that speaks about me. And I decided that the cover needed to be denim because I live in jeans. I love jeans. I wear them all the time. So I didn't have enough denim fabric here to do the cover that I wanted to do, so I went to Joann's. When I was at Joann's, I thought, why don't I look for some lace to go on it? So I ended up in the bridal section, and I found this fabric that I thought was just gorgeous. And I bought a quarter of a yard. And then I bought some other stuff, and I bought a couple of bandanas there because I thought I need to put some bandanas in there because jeans and bandanas. Yes. So I came home and I went through my fabrics because I know that I had bought some Harry Potter Daily Prophet material a while back. And I wanted to use that too. So again, I watched one of Barbara's videos on how she puts together her covers. And this is the inside of my cover. You can see this is a paper bag. I glued the Harry Potter fabric on the front of it, and then I put the denim fabric over it, and then I cut out a design from the lace that I had bought, and I put it on the spine. And then I left it upstairs on the pile, because the pile just seems to house everything lately. Well, then I was watching one of Luise's videos, and she was talking about how she was having to take apart a journal that she had made so that she could make the spine wider. And when she made the spine wider, she put a piece of lace on it that she had dyed with some of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks and made it really grungy looking. And I looked at it and I was like, I need that. So I went upstairs and I ripped the lace off my cover, and I went and I got a bunch of inks and I put it on a piece of resin and added some water to it, and I took that lace element and I dipped and dyed it in there, and when I dried it I had to glue it back on to the cover. So this is what the front cover of my journal looks like. There's that lace there, and it's all grungy, dyed with Tim Holtz Distress Oxides. There's 4 different colors in there. I love the way that looks, and that will be the spine of my journal. And this is the front of my journal, and in the pockets you can see the Daily Prophet fabric. I have the inside piece that will go over this cut out of a piece of bandana upstairs, but it's on the pile. Did I tell you about the pile? Yeah, we're not going there again. So then I got distracted because I've been working on a project for something to take with me to the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit to hand out to all the people who attend in person. Don't have to do this. This is something that I wanted to do. Last year I wanted to do it, and I knew that there would be about 100 attendees, and I managed to get 60 bookmarkers made last year. This year I'm really trying to get enough so that everybody there will get one. It's been an ongoing project. It's sitting on my kitchen table. I am not going to show it to you. But it involved using some paper and a digital printable, and I wanted to age the edges like I did with my bookmarkers, so I used my Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks, and I took a piece of paper to ink the edges on, which meant there was a lot of ink left over on this piece of paper after I did this 100 plus edged, 100 plus whatevers. And I thought to myself, I've got a lot of ink on here. How can I use this? So, again, Luise Heinzl, Junk Journal Art, she's shown me and taught me how Distress Oxide inks, if you get them wet and they get all liquidy, you can do things like dye fabrics and make them look fabulous like this. And if you do it on paper, the reaction of the water to the Distress Oxide inks will alter how the inks look. Sometimes they'll end up being a completely different color. Other times, the splotches where the water has hit will make these fantastic little spots. So I had a full size, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I had all this ink on, and I got it wet and I let it run, and there was more splotches on there. And then I went and I was watching Marlies, Marlie Designs, and she makes something called a snippet roll. And I've watched her do a couple of these, and this lady is amazing. All three of these ladies are amazing. But these snippet rolls that Marlie designs, oh my God, fabulous. So I took that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and I tore it into 3 strips and I glued them together, and I have a strip of paper. And then I took Marlie's idea and I went through and I stamped elements all over the background pieces. And then I tore pieces of paper. Some of them came from Vicki, Stitch and Buttons. She'd sent me a bunch of goodies, and the green papers that you will see in here and the ones that have an old world map on it are from Vicki. I got some ideas for making my own stickers from little labels from Luise Heinzl. I got the idea of using rub-ons from Marlie. Anyway, I inked and I stamped and I glued, and I came up with this lovely, lovely snippet roll. And this is all based off of an idea that I got from watching Marlies. So this will end up being used in this journal, and it can be cut into small pieces that I can enhance on pages. I can cut a piece to make a belly band in the journal, or I could make it as a pocket on the side, or I could make it a pocket this way, or a belly band this way. But it's been fun playing with paper. So that's that project, and part of it is still upstairs on the pile. All right. Now I need to go back through here and find what's next on the list. Okay, next cross stitch pattern that I've been working on. This is Halloween seed sack carriage house samplings. This is being housed in a beautiful project bag that was gifted to me from my friend Lori, textilist. Let me get my pattern off my piece and show you this bag. This is just absolutely stunning. And I know it has, this is a Nikki's Notables bag. Absolutely gorgeous, perfect for this project. This is the one that I know I posted a picture on Instagram because the owl is supposed to be black, and I stitched the owl in brown. And while I was cursing out the owl because I stitched it the wrong color, I was also looking at this picture and I realized that on the model stitch there, whoever stitched this, and I'm not saying this to pick on anybody, but to show that we all make mistakes, because I always point out my mistakes, they missed 3 stitches by the owl's leg. I did not. But this is where I am at with this piece. I've got Owl's Beak Farm. I am stitching down the vine on this pumpkin. There will be a pumpkin here. I've got the vine on this gourd here, and I have my crow done. And I think this is gorgeous. And I like my owl better. Just saying. I like my owl better. Which happened because I made a mistake. So don't discount your mistakes, because sometimes they work out better. All right. The next one that I have been working on this one is housed in the bag that Melanie Smith Yarns and Threads gave to me in our Halloween exchange last year, which we're not doing this year because, yeah, we're not. This pattern is called Boo. It is by MamaWitchXstitch. This was gifted to me from Anna, Stitch Roadies, Hector, Hortense, and Herschel, and Grandmama Wilhelmina. And this is where I'm at. I have been working on Hortense. I got her face done. I have her boobs done. I stitched the décolletage on her bosoms. And here is the frame and part of Herschel's head. So I have to get started on her skirt down here. I think the blue here is part of her skirt. And I need to stitch the rest of Herschel's face and the frame going around it. I need to stitch the top of the banner that spells out Boo. And then I need to move my Q snaps so that I can come down and stitch their bottoms, and there is a cat over here. So this is what it will look like. This is what it does look like. So there's been some love on that. Which brings me to the last piece that I've been stitching on. And I need a sip of coffee because I've been talking for like 45 minutes and I'm thirsty. Okay. So a while back, Kelly sent me a pattern. Let me find. Kelly, who is Lover's Song, sent me a package from New Zealand. And in that package was a pattern that I had never seen before. And when I looked at the pattern, on the front of it, I realized everything is written in Chinese. And my son came over and did a Google Translate, and from this right here, he got the name Halloween Balcony. So I then did a Google search for Halloween Balcony and found out that there are several versions of this pattern. They're all very similar. Some are Christmas, some are Halloween, some are different colors, some are autumnal, some are not. There's a whole variety of patterns in these. But this one is Halloween Balcony. And I love this one so much. I am housing all the flosses in a Bags Plus Floss Buddy. This is the first one that I ever bought, and right now it has all my colors in it except for the 310 black, which was sitting loose in there and I didn't want it to fall to the floor. So let me take the top of my Q snap off because I have finished page 1. I have most of page 2 finished, and I am working on page 3. And I'm going to use Boo to hold my whole piece together so you can see it. I love this so much. The design is fabulous. Yes, there is a ton of backstitching in this, but look at the details of the leaves and the scroll work around the window, and it is just absolutely a pleasure to work on. I love this thing so much. I could become totally monogamous with this one because I love it so much. Right here, I think, is about page 1. Page 2 ended right about here. I have a little bit of the owl's face to finish, and then I have back stitching to do for the owl, and page 2 will be done. Page 3 is the majority of the door, and then page 4 will be the very bottom with the pumpkins. So this is coming along so nicely. If FlossTube took this one as my cover shot, I would be happy with that. But I'm still hoping they'll do the trolls. Or better yet, I just take a picture myself and make sure I put what I want on the front of my videos, right? I can do that much editing. It's about the extent of my editing. Weaving shorter videos together and maybe adding a picture at the beginning or the end. So that is everything that I have been working on. I've touched everything. And when I'm done with it, it goes upstairs and it sits on the pile to be finished when I retire. I don't know. 285 days, people. 285 days. Quite honestly, the way I'm feeling right now is the best I've felt in the last couple of weeks. It changes day to day. Other than the surgeries that I had to have my knees replaced, I don't think I've looked forward to having a surgery done as much as I want to get my appendix removed. But again, I need to wait until I have some PTO, which means I have to wait until after my anniversary, which is the end of September. Surgery is scheduled for October 10th. Like I said, everybody at work has been taking care of me. They know that I don't feel good. Mark has been taking care of me. That man has been taking care of me for 40 plus years, and I am so blessed to have him in my life. I have received comments and messages and gifts, and thank you to everybody who has reached out to me, has checked in on me. I appreciate it so very much. I've been lurking over on Instagram, recently posting a couple of pictures there. I don't know when I'm going to do my next video. I'll try to get back into my 2-week routine, but if I don't, please bear with me. I feel punky every day, and sometimes all I want to do is sit in my chair and read. And I've been doing a lot of reading because I'm an avid reader. It's been mostly Harry Potter fan fiction. In the evening, Mark and I have been binge watching Suits. And I normally don't like lawyer shows, but I'm rather enjoying this one, and maybe it's because I haven't watched one for many, many years. But this is where I'm at. This is what's going on in my life. This is why I haven't been around for a month. I will try to be back in 2 weeks. We'll see. Until then, if you've watched my videos, please hit the like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.